We're going to start by talking about traffic on the west side of the metro area. If you live anywhere else and you work at Intel or Nike or any number of other big companies, you know the drive to the office can be, shall we say, rough. So what if tolling could help? Yeah, tolling. That's our big story tonight. Now that tolling is dead, sort of, or for the moment, around the greater Portland area, I had a chance to sit down with Brendan Finn, the director of ODOT's Office of Urban Mobility. One of his duties is to keep studying trouble spots when it comes to traffic in our area. And one that he's been looking at lately involves the west side of the metro area, highways 26 and 217. All right, and traffic on the west side. Bad. Lots of people over there. Intel's growing like crazy and everybody else. So what's happening over there?
Yeah, I mean, precisely. We have one of our biggest economic drivers is what's happening out there in Washington County with Intel, the semiconductor industry, Nike, Genentech, lots of huge employers that are great employers. We're also focusing more housing out in that area as well. So as you might imagine, that's going to exacerbate the transportation system, particularly in the Sunset Quarter and the 26. So we conducted a study along with our partners at Metro, working with the local municipalities, community-based organizations, as well as the transit agencies, to really look at the numbers on what will help reduce congestion and what will help what will help people in these communities be more mobile, really looking at where the trip generation is. We learned a lot of people are living in Gresham, but working in Western Washington County. So where are those options? What's going to move the dial to increase mobility in those areas? So we finished that study. It recommended a suite of different projects to have further study for, to refine the numbers, and then look at how we move forward on that. So they took a look at a lot of pieces there. So that's an important piece. I feel that that corridor is going to be an important one for us to take a really in-depth look at, with the importance economically, but also the importance of it to be kind of a new place where we need to have more housing, which is a big priority for the governor as well. Yeah,
and you probably don't want to say it, but it sounds like that would also be a place for tolling and congestion pricing.
Well, the conversation that we're having with the community there, they're going to get to see the data and evaluate them and make that decision themselves.
Yeah, just so you know, that's kind of a yes. That's what planners think would make sense. But don't take my word for it. Both the regional government, that's Metro, and the Oregon Department of Transportation have been studying tolling on the west side for a couple of years now. Here's their timeline. They started meeting with the local elected leaders and business executives back in 2022. And here's the areas that they're studying. It includes Highway 26 and parts of Highway 217. The big issue is growth. Washington County is now home to something like 630,000 people. And as Mr. Finn mentioned, it's also home to some of the biggest companies in Oregon. So gridlock is a real problem during some hours on Highway 26 and 217 in that area. They've already run a scenario with a toll on Highway 26 between Nike and Intel, and Highway 217 as well. The results? Improved travel time and reduced delays as people shift over to carpooling and different travel patterns. So that idea of, I don't know, let's see what the citizens tell us, sort of correct, but not really. Sort of correct, because if the citizens go crazy with complaints and protests, the government, might back off, but it's not like they don't have a plan. In fact, here's the cover page of their last meeting on November 30th of last year. In that meeting, they talked about lots of things, including, well, a new tunnel that could connect Kaiser Road to Highway 30 by going under the West Hills, and Forest Park as well. Now, I know many of you love tunnels. And a new bridge. What about this one across the Willamette River that would connect Highway 30 to Lombard in North Portland? Or maybe widening Barnes Road to up to 5 lanes up and over the West Hills. I got to tell you, it's unclear if any of these plans will ever happen, but they were discussed. The committee talking about them was made up of government folks and industry folks, and it seems some of that probably was just brainstorming about what could happen in a perfect world. But some of the ideas are smaller and meant to help sell people who live out in that area on the idea of tolling. This is a list of potential investments that would be paired with tolling. And, you know, if we were a fly on the wall in that final meeting on the 30th of November, you know, we might have heard, oh, wait a minute, actually we can be a fly on the wall. Oh, good. We have video of that meeting. Well then, let's listen into one person's concern about selling tolling on the west side to the people who live there.
Where I go is, we're all wearing bruises. You're not the only one regarding tolling. And I think as we consider what we're putting down here, we have to think about the communication pieces as well, and what it says to the people that will be looking to this. So I'm frankly, I'm a little nervous about saying let's model tolling without doing these things, because I think that I don't know that that sends the right message. In my mind, of course you would do it that way, you know, and that would be the approach. But I do think, as from my perspective, we really need to be cognizant of the discussions that are going to be had, and they're not going to be easy ones.
How about that? I did kind of feel like a fly in the wall there looking down. And anyway, so yes, highly likely you will at least see a tolling proposal for the west side. But I do believe ODOT when they say they're trying to have the effort come from the local community instead of having it mandated from the top down by the state. Here's what the Regional Mobility Director, Brendan Finn, had to say about that approach.
That's probably the recipe for success on such an effort, is to really have it come from the communities that are there, and then have them understand the benefits, and for them to be the one that advocate from them, as opposed to it being the agency that's doing that.
From the top down. So it'd be reverse of what we saw earlier.
Pretty much.
How about that? Now it's your turn. What you think? Are ODOT and Metro being smart and planning for the future? Maybe the opposite in your opinion? If the big businesses say tolling is important to allow their workers to get to the office easier, or their products to the airport, for example, would that make you favor tolling? You know the drill. Shoot us an email. The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090. I look forward to hearing from you.